Hey, what's going on, guys? Coach Aero here, and today we are going to be covering how to get started with air dribbles. Before we jump in, I want to preface that if you are clicking on this video, you should already be comfortable with basic aerials and the concept of air rolling. Like our last mechanic video, we will break down the basics of air dribbling into 3 separate parts. The first touch, catching up to the ball to catch it in the air, and lastly, continuing to control the ball after the catch in the air. If you don't think you're at this point yet, don't be afraid to go back and watch our previous videos this season, even if you just need a refresher. For today's warm-up, we will be doing a personal favorite warm-up training pack of mine. Some of the shots can be very challenging here, but air dribbling is a mechanically demanding concept, so giving ourselves a bit of a challenge right out of the gate will be a big help to get us locked in. Part of the air dribble is of course the first touch. If you guys watched my last video, Double Taps, the training pack we are in will look familiar. This pack gives a really easy setup for our mechanics off the wall, making it an ideal choice. But realistically, if you guys are filling up for a challenge, you could do all of these in free play and just set it up off the wall yourself. But this just makes it really easy for us. So for this drill, we will be practicing only getting a first touch. And for this first touch, we want to ideally pop the ball upward, traveling along an upward trajectory, which will give us time to jump off the wall and catch up to it. The one thing we don't want to happen here is for the ball to touch the ceiling, as we'd have to adjust really fast to read it and wouldn't be able to control it. A graphic will pop up on the screen now illustrating which part of the ball you guys should be looking to hit, and you'll see footage of some of my first touches. Following the first touch every time, quickly jump off the wall and start boosting a bit into the air. We want to practice this because most of the time we want to be under the ball when we catch it, so we need to get there fast before it starts going downward. Practice this step until you can consistently get a first touch like you see in the footage and jump off the wall to follow it as quickly as possible. The next step of the air dribble is the catch. This can be the trickiest part because if you mess this up, there is no air dribble. The ball just falls off your hood and onto the ground. We will be in the same training pack, just extending off of drill 1. When we are boosting to catch the ball after the first hit, make sure to feather your boost, which means you're going to consistently tap it and not hold it down to make sure you are not going too fast and don't lose control. You can look to the footage on screen to see what a successful catch looks like. Ideally, we want to have our nose facing upwards for the catch. Since this can be very challenging, you can move on to step 3 once you start getting comfortable with the catch. It doesn't have to be consistently every time, as that's just not possible. Even I mess up the catches sometimes, and you might see that in the footage, so it happens to all of us. Our final step of the air dribble is the control following the catch. There's no one way to say how to control the ball, as each situation will be different. The ball's trajectory and speed will vary, etc. One thing to remember when controlling the ball following the catch is to try and keep your nose at a somewhat upward facing angle, and to feather your boost at most times so you don't go too fast and lose control of the ball. I don't want you guys to try and score the air dribble for now. Just work on carrying it for a little bit, and if you can score 2, great, but that's not the focus. Just work on getting control of the ball following a catch, and practice this until you are comfortable starting air dribbles from the positions in this training pack. Now we're going to challenge ourselves a little bit. I'm going to provide you guys with an air dribble pack that gives us a lot of different interesting positions to start an air dribble from. A lot of these won't be off the wall like in the pack we were practicing in, so the first touch will look different, but the concepts of the catch and the control following the catch stay the same no matter what. For this session, try to, at the very least, get the catch in the air for these shots, as some of them can be really challenging. In this workout, we covered the most basic concepts of the air dribble and broke them down into 3 parts. The biggest thing to take away from this lesson that can be applicable to general control with the ball in Rocket League is to try and feather your boost when dribbling, which makes control much easier. Until next time, I'm Coach Aero. Stay tuned for next week's lesson, Ceiling Shots. Have a great day, everyone.